We're the 507th Parachute Infantry Regiment, reenacted, and today we're going to be doing a mortar demonstration on how an M2 60mm mortar was deployed in the field in World War II. The mortar was actually a copy of a French design. Yes, we actually copied a French weapons design and used it. So they did take part in World War II and helped us. So the mortar system is very simple. It consists of a tube, a cup, a bipod, and a base plate. That's it. It was an indirect fire device, which means you didn't have to see your enemy to shoot them. And how I explain this to kids or young people, I said it was basically like a game of Angry Birds. And it fired this. It may not look like much. I'm sorry for you folks that can't really see this. But this is an M49A2 high explosive round. And when this thing fired, it weighed about 3 pounds, and that little weapon system there could shoot this thing over a mile. So, you were tucked behind that berm back there, and your enemy was over in that encampment. As long as you had a good forward observer, this thing is very, very devastating. And I will make this statement. I've talked to World War II veterans. I've talked to veterans in Iraq and Afghanistan. This is one of the most feared, if not the most feared, weapon system that has ever been developed for small tactics, because you got 3 options. 1, you get out of its range. You got a lot of humping to do if you want to get out within a mile. 2,
9:45. We have a
go
number
and
of
try to
events
find
coming
the
up at
mortar
10
team, but
o'clock.
typically the mortar team was placed behind the
Beginning at
infantry.
10 o'clock, the
So you got to get through a line of infantry to get to the mortar team, and typically the mortar team has a head start, and then they're going to get out and they're going to reset back up and continue firing down onto the German lines.
On the beach.
The third option was to get on the ground, get as small as possible, and to pray to whatever God you were praying to at that time, because that was your only chance of escaping this round. Once it struck, this thing broke into about 80 pieces. And they traveled close to 4,000 feet per second. It was very, very, very lethal. The round also fired an illumination round to help illuminate enemy troops and positions, and also fired smoke rounds as well for concealment and for anti-personnel reasons.
Attention reenactors, check-in will be closing in 15 minutes. The German artillery will be firing at 10:00.
We're going to do a little demonstration on how this was deployed.
German artillery at 10 o'clock.
Now I apologize, because yesterday, if anybody was here, we actually did live fire
briefing on the Allied parade at 10:00.
But the fire department didn't like us too much, didn't like us doing, so they shut us down for today. So you can thank the Conneaut Fire Department for this. So we apologize. But we do have a surprise to make your time worthwhile here. So we're just going to kind of walk through it to show you how this weapon system was deployed and used in World War II.
And also a presentation on Women's Army Corps meteorologists starts at 10:00 hours at Allied headquarters. So a number of things coming up at 10:00 hours.
In the direction that he wanted the mortar fired.
Landing craft ride, western end of the beach. D-Day in miniature will be opening up. Reenactors will need to be checked in 15 minutes. German artillery will be firing at 10 o'clock. The Provision Ranger Group will be holding a briefing on the Allied parade ground. A Maquis attack will take place at Lafayette Bridge at 10, and a presentation on Women's Army Corps meteorologists takes place at 10:00 hours at Allied headquarters.
If anybody knows anything about the airborne during World War II, is that their drops weren't that successful. So your base plate may have landed 1 mile that way, your tube 1 mile that way, and then your bipod that way. So it really wasn't effective. Near the end of the war, and especially on D-Day, a lot of mortarmen actually jumped with the bipod and the tube and some guy with the base plate. The base plate really wasn't a necessary component of it. This could still be fired with the tube and the bipod. Once the assistant gunner set it up, the gunner then takes aim at the gun. Now this guy back here, he's got the crappiest job because he's got to carry the ammo. So he brings the ammo up, sets it down with the assistant gunner, and then he assumes a security position, what he's doing is he's covering the rear of the gunners to make sure that no Germans come sneaking up and take out the mortar crew. So the squad leader there has binoculars and he has a radio and a map. Typically, you would also have a forward observer, somebody way out near with the infantry in their line spotting German positions. He would be radioing back to the squad leader, who then would take those directions, transpose them on the map, and then using his firing table, give command to the gunner to fire a round, and then they would fire the round. So the rounds came shipped in these cardboard tubes. He would hand it to him. He would pull the safety pin off of the round, drop it in the tube, and then that round would then get sent out towards the enemy. Again, we apologize that we're not allowed to do this today. So, next thing what would happen, and we can walk through this, when you have 3 pounds of TNT stuck in a tube and in combat conditions, inside of here, what sent that round out was a blank shotgun shell, essentially. It was like a 20 gauge. If you had your rounds out ready, if it was humid, if it was wet, it was damp, sometimes the round wouldn't go off. Essentially what you would have then is a pipe bomb ready to go off. So if this would happen, and say he dropped that round in and it was a misfire, he would yell, "Misfire! Misfire! Misfire!" So they're yelling, "Misfire! Misfire!" because they want to tell anybody else on the line that, hey, we got a live round in that tube and it didn't leave. So that gives, if there's a rifleman, maybe even a security guy, to go, I'm going to take a few steps back here. So according to the procedure of World War II, the gunner would use the bottom of his foot and kick the tube to try to maybe help dislodge it out of the tube and send it out. If that didn't work, you went to plan B. And plan B wasn't a very good, in my mind, a very good plan. The assistant gunner would lift the tube up ever so slightly and try to dip the round out. Now, the gunner, what he's doing is, when that round comes out, there's this plunger. This is what detonates the M52 fuse, which sets off the TNT in the round. So when he's going for that round, he's not waiting with his bare hands on the tube, so when it comes out, it hits there. He's actually got to cup it, kind of like if he's catching a football. So it slides in between and he can grab that round. Once he takes the round out of the tube, sweating, nervous a little bit, takes it off to the side, lays it down where they can take a fuse wrench and unscrew the fuse, and then safely disarm the round. So this guy can come out here and probably school us all, even school me in how to fire this, but again, we apologize for not being able to. So again, like I said earlier, we're not going to leave you without a little something. So our gunner here happened to bring his weapon with him, and he brought his Thompson submachine gun. You hold it up for the crowd, everybody to see. Everybody who knows this weapon, if you've seen any movie on World War II or know anything about World War II, it's one of the most famous firearms produced in human history. Fired a 45 ACP caliber round. It was a pistol round, and it was actually, when it was designed early on to help for World War I. Once they got to the trenches, they would have a submachine gun to help. It wasn't done in time for World War I, and it came just in time for World War II. Actually, when the Auto Ordnance Company went to market the gun, they tried marketing. The Marine Corps purchased into it, and they tried selling it to the British. And the British said, no, we don't want that. That gun has a gangster image in the United States, and it won't serve for Royal Highness's Navy or Army. Well, then some guy named Adolf Hitler started some shenanigans, and they were like, you know what, we'll take it, we'll use it, we'll use it. And then it became one of the most primary arms of all Allied forces. So he's going to be demonstrating what this thing sounded like. And take note, now if everybody's seen a movie or you've seen combat, Sergeant Saunders carrying his Thompson was the one thing that it never did. It never ran out of ammo. So take note of how quickly this thing can dispense 30 rounds of ammunition. That gets your blood going in the morning. Should we do one more? One more? All right, let's give him a round of applause. That barrel's smoking. Well, again, we apologize if we weren't able to do the mortar demonstration. We had to bring something here to get you going in the morning. So thank you all for your time. If you have any questions, again, we're up by Gate C, 507 Parachute Infantry Regiment. We have all different types of original mortar rounds, different explorations, tools, and equipment that they used for the mortar team during World War II. Thank you for being here and enjoy the rest of your day.